Hi, I'm John Olick, VP of Operations with COR Bookkeeping, sitting here with our very own CEO, Brandy Garza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So, COR Bookkeeping, tell me about how this started. How did this idea come about for you to start your own company?
So, the idea started, it was really born in 2013 when my daughter was born. I was a controller for a manufacturing facility at the time, working long hours, always at work. And I just felt like there was a very big imbalance in my life as far as work life. Right. And so I had a very encouraging boss at the time who told me to, maybe I should think about taking a step out into entrepreneurship, and he encouraged me and I prayed about it and I really thought about it and I made the leap. And when I finally made the leap, he told me he would be my first client. So he kind of gave me that head start. And, from there, I joined my local chamber and I started meeting people and networking and developed my first, book of business for my clients, which was enough to sustain me and my family at the time. And then in 2019, my daughter didn't really need me as much anymore. And so I made the decision to grow my company, and 2020 kicked off and developed the logo and did the rebranding. And now here we are.
So I talked to a lot of your clients in back of house. You are the lifesaver. You take care of all those things that they went into business thinking that they were going to be doing what they love, say carpenter, barber, that they were just going to be doing that the whole time. But they didn't realize that there was this whole other aspect to it, tax, bookkeeping, so on and so forth. They're not very good at. You've got that part down. What have been some challenges for your company that you faced here? Obviously, 2020, COVID was a very scary time. Aside from that, what's been some challenges for you?
I think the biggest challenge has been really staffing for me, finding the right people to join our team. Just because, COVID really did, it shifted the way that employees look at the employment market. And so that has been the biggest challenge, but I'm patient. And so I'm waiting and looking for the right people to join our team. And so far that patience has paid off because we have a fantastic team, including you, right? Like you're a big part of that too. So, that patience and just, being very diligent and thoughtful, about what I'm doing and how I'm taking care of my clients and making sure we've got the right people joining the team has been, it's been very fruitful. So
what makes COR different than other companies?
So the biggest difference with COR Bookkeeping versus other accounting or tax firms is that we begin the journey with the bookkeeping services, bookkeeping and administrative support, right? And a lot of people don't really understand, what does administrative support mean, right? What is that? So it's all of those things that a bookkeeper in a small business sitting in an office does. That bookkeeper doesn't just sit there all day and, manage the books. They are answering phones. They're filling out loan applications. They're shopping for, general liability insurance. They're shopping for health insurance. They're doing all of those office administration functions that the owner of the business isn't doing. Because as the owner of a company, let's say you're a welder, right? Your time isn't best spent trying to shop for health insurance. Your time is best spent doing what you love and doing what you're passionate about. And so that's what we do, is we take that burden of a full-time employee sitting in an office off of the small to mid-sized business owner, pull it in-house, and they only pay for the services that they actually use, which include the administrative support. So we take the client through that journey, and then we end with the tax services, which is different than what I think a lot of other tax firms and accounting firms do.
So a more complete view, whereas with the tax, it's mainly prepping them just for that one-time tax season.
Correct.
You're with them throughout the journey.
Correct.
And
the whole year.
And that's very reassuring. That's just very reassuring to your clients. So what's one of those things that one little thing that happens, you're like, this is why I do it. This is why I created this business. This is what brings me joy whenever this happens.
So for me, it's really watching my clients grow. It's watching their businesses grow. It's watching them, reach their goals and their dreams, whether it's selling their business and then retiring or starting their next great adventure, or, opening that second location that they've always wanted to have, starting the new business, being done with this first business and starting the next one, providing benefits for their employees, or, the best thing that I love to see happen is when my clients can take a breath and actually spend some time with their families. Because as a business owner, even myself, sometimes that's difficult to do, because you're the one in the trenches, making sure that things are happening and the business is growing and thriving every day. But when you can finally, and when my clients can finally step away from that and go spend some quality time with their families and enjoy the fruits of all the labors that they've put in, it lets me know that I am doing my job.
So tell me about the name. It's a beautiful logo, but
thanks.
Looks like maybe spell check wasn't working that day.
I get that a lot, actually. So, my journey, me being here, sitting in this chair with you today, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my faith and it wasn't for God. Like, He brought me here, everything that I've been through from the beginnings of my career all the way to, just when we were, I was driving up here today, all of it is through the power of God. And I 100% believe that. And this is how I glorify Him. This is how I give Him the credit, is doing it all, in His name.
So what does COR mean?
So COR is from the book of Corinthians, 1st and 2nd Corinthians in the Bible. And what I love so much about those books is that it gives me a lot of guidance in how to live my life, how to do things the right way. For me, my principles, my Christian values and principles don't just apply in my personal life. They also apply in my business. And that's another reason why I wanted to make sure that I stated that very clearly within my company, is because that is what our principles are. That's the fundamentals of what we do and why we do it. We do it to love other people and to serve others. God's very clear about that in His message in the Bible, that, we're here to serve and love and help one another. And so that's what we do.
So lots of growth in the company, tremendous outlook. What do you see coming up for COR Bookkeeping?
So I see lots of growth coming for COR Bookkeeping, which is exciting. I think that the messaging that I've been working on, and really just getting out into the community with the small business owners and letting them know that we exist and what we do and how we can support them. I think that message is really starting to get out there, and it resonates with people because it's more clear. It is a better fit for what they actually need, right? Versus what they've been getting. Because there's that, this is what's available to me, but this is what I really need. And I think we're starting to actually fill that niche of what people needed, and the word's getting out. And so the company's growing, and it's exciting.
So you have sister companies. You have COR Helping Hands.
I do.
Philanthropic company. And then you're also starting a podcast.
Yes. So COR Helping Hands is going to be a nonprofit organization that we will use to support other nonprofits. 100% of the proceeds donated to COR Helping Hands will go towards funding those other nonprofit needs and helping to support them and lift them and serve them, raise them up, build them up. And then the Cordial Conversations podcast, which is going to be starting to broadcast, I think, later this month or the beginning of April. I'm really excited about that. That's going to be an opportunity for a lot of different business owners to talk about their business journey, how they started and how they got to where they are, and also give them an opportunity to talk about how God played a role in all of that, because I think that that's so important that people hear that messaging, because a lot of times through difficult situations, difficult times in life, difficult times in business, people can get very discouraged and feel like they're alone, And so I think it's really important for entrepreneurs like myself and some of my clients to get out into the world and really put their voice out there and give their testimony, so that others can see that they're not alone, and that, even though they may be in hard times, that they'll get through it and they can do it too.
The voice of small business. Well, very good. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you.
And wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Thank you.